In a quiet village nestled between golden fields and whispering woods, there lived a girl named Ayla. She was unlike any other child in Windmere. While the other children played with marbles or helped their families in the fields, Ayla spent her days chasing the breeze. She would twirl on hilltops, arms outstretched, laughing as the wind tangled her hair and lifted the hem of her tattered skirt. But Ayla wasn't just dancing with the wind. She spoke to it, and though no one believed her, the wind spoke back. She lived with her grandmother, who always warned her, "Don't trust what you cannot see, child. Wind is a traveler, never loyal to one place." But Ayla couldn't help it. She had felt different her whole life, like something inside her was always trying to take flight. On her 12th birthday, that feeling turned real. It began at dawn. Ayla woke to a breeze curling under her bedsheet, tugging her gently from sleep. When she opened her eyes, the room shimmered with soft blue light, and the wind whispered, "It's time." Confused but curious, Ayla followed the wind as it danced down the staircase and out the cottage door. It led her across the dewy meadow, where wildflowers bowed as she passed. At the top of Windmere Hill stood a silver tree with no leaves, only long ribbons that fluttered like sails. Ayla had never seen it before. From behind the tree stepped a figure cloaked in storm-gray silk. She had cloud, white hair, and a gaze like a thunderstorm held still. Who are you?" Ayla asked. "I am the Weaver of Air," said the woman. "And you, Ayla, are the wind's chosen?" Ayla blinked. "Me? Why?" "Because you listened." Then, with fingers light as a breeze, the weaver held out something that shimmered like morning mist, a gown spun of pale blue, silver threads glimmering at the seams. It looked like sky stitched with lightning. "Your true dress," the weaver said, "woven from the wind itself." Ayla reached for it, and the moment her fingers touched the fabric, the world changed. The dress wrapped itself around her, light as cloud but stronger than steel. The moment she wore it, she could feel every gust, every whisper, every sigh in the air. The wind no longer played with hair, it moved through her. She had become part of it. Her feet lifted slightly from the ground. "Whoa," she breathed, hovering inches above the grass. The weaver smiled. "You are no longer bound by soil. But remember, wind is wild. It gives freely and takes without asking." Ayla returned home different. Her grandmother saw the change instantly. "You've stepped into something dangerous, haven't you?" she said, staring at the wind-woven dress. "It chose me," Ayla replied. "I can't explain it, Grandma, but it feels like home." And for a while it was wonderful. Wherever Ayla walked, the wind followed. She helped farmers blow rain clouds to thirsty crops. She carried birds who were too tired to fly. She even lifted lost balloons back into children's hands. The villagers called her Wind Girl and marveled at her gift. But not everyone was happy. A merchant named Tavin, greedy and clever, wanted the dress for himself. He believed it would make him rich, carrying his ships, silencing storms, or even stealing across borders unseen. One moonless night, he crept into Ayla's window with a blade. But the wind knew. Before he reached her bed, a fierce gust blasted him backwards, slamming him into the wall. Ayla sat up, eyes glowing faintly, and said, "Leave. The wind protects its own." Terrified, Tavin fled the village, never to return. From that day on, the dress shimmered brighter. But with power came burden. The wind grew restless inside her. Sometimes, when Ayla felt upset, it would whip into a storm, trees bending, shutters slamming, children crying. She didn't mean to, but emotions were winds too, and her dress magnified everything. She began to fear herself. Then came the drought. Weeks passed without a single drop of rain. The river shrank, crops withered, Animals collapsed from thirst. The village begged Ayla, "You must call the storm." She tried. She climbed Windmere Hill and opened her arms to the heavens. She whispered to the clouds. She spun in the air, calling with her heart. But the sky stayed dry. Exhausted, she fell to her knees. Then, faintly, a voice in the wind answered, "You carry wind but not water. You are not rain's child." Tears stung her eyes. She returned home empty-handed. That night, her grandmother sat beside her and said gently, "Wind can lift, Ayla, but it cannot grow. Sometimes even power must ask for help." So Ayla went back to the silver tree. The weaver of air stood waiting, as if she had never left. "I failed them," Ayla said. "No," the weaver replied. "You became the wind's guardian, not its master. That is not failure, it is wisdom." Ayla hesitated. "Then what now?" The weaver reached into the sky and drew out a single thread from a passing cloud. She handed it to Ayla. "If you truly wish to serve, wear the dress only when needed. Let yourself live among your people, not above them." And so Ayla did. She folded the dress into a locket and wore it close to her heart. The wind still whispered, still waited, but she no longer let it carry her away. She became a storyteller, teaching children how to listen to the wind in the trees, the rustle of grass, the breath of birds in flight. Years passed. When storms rolled in, Ayla would sometimes vanish into the sky, returning only when calm returned. Some said they saw her dancing on the clouds. Others swore the breeze smelled like her perfume. But the truth was simple. She was the girl who wore a dress made of wind, and the wind never forgot her name. The end.